out there.
There was nothing new for this week. I mean, I checked I didn't check Siloam, but I checked every Malco in our area. I checked our AMC. I did not check the small independent theater a ways away, but there was nothing to watch. I did watch Gunslingers though.
Gunslingers is it like a streaming movie?
It was in the theater. We just didn't get it here.
You didn't go see The King of Kings?
No.
Well, The Amateur. That was the one that I wanted to see.
Yeah, I did not.
I didn't get a chance to go see that.
Yeah, that was there, but that's not really a movie worth watching. I mean, we had Drop, we had Amateur.
Yeah, I didn't want to see that.
We had King of Kings is the animated one.
Yeah, the Jesus one.
Well, hey, just a little bit of news. Then going ahead and getting into that. Did you see? You know how they love to make up records?
Yeah.
To talk about their movies.
Was the Jesus one the first, the greatest box office opening of all time about from an animated movie about Jesus?
Yes.
Well, really?
That's exactly it.
Oh my God.
It now holds the record for the opening weekend of all time for an animated biblical movie.
Like, that's the dumbest award ever. Because I mean,
It's
we could make a movie about vomiting frogs, and it's like it makes $1, and all of a sudden it's like we hold the world record for making a animated video about vomiting frogs.
Well, no, that's already a movie according to the Elvira Pinball Machine, right? Night of the Leapers.
Night of the Leapers. Yeah, but they're not vomiting.
Are you sure? Because they go. Wah!
I think they just make the noise. Yeah.
Well,
anyhow, pinball. And it's like. Meow, meow.
But yeah, it holds the biggest record, the best opening weekend for an animated biblical movie. I don't know what it had to go against though. Prince of Egypt and what else? Like what else is another big
the only
budget?
Ones I really know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but surprise, it made money.
So they gave them.
It made more. It didn't make as much money, honestly, as I thought. But as
that's
Merle,
a lot of dollars for a movie like that.
As Merle said on Twitch, wait till Easter weekend, which is next weekend, and I think it'll be like, well, we gotta go watch Jesus. That'll be the movie of the weekend, faux show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an interesting bit of news. It's been a kind of a sleepy week. A lot of my news people were talking about like, oh, here's why Borderlands didn't work. Oh, HBO, TV, Harry Potter.
That's because now Minecraft is the largest
video game movie.
And I didn't see them mention Mario Brothers in any of the things that I read at all. Right?
Yeah.
But
which doesn't make sense.
It's apparently one of WB's biggest movies ever. Also, it beat The Dark Knight. Like, it's a bigger opening than The Dark Knight. But at the same time, The Dark Knight had that opening weekend where old dude in Colorado made people not want to go to the movie theaters.
That's true.
So that's a bad movie to compare it against. Because, people were kind of scared to go to the movie theater there for a minute. But yeah, it's like one of Warner Brothers' like biggest ever movies. They're like, oh, it's bigger than this one, which is ridiculous. And apparently they keep having cops called at the theaters.
Oh, for the chicken thing?
For chickens and throwing popcorn and teenagers screaming. And they already announced that they're making a second one of these.
Well, of course they are, because money. We've covered that in how many episodes of this show, that as long as it's making money, you're going to get more of them. And yuck. Just yuck. Man, I don't know. I could care less for any of these things.
Right. Well, and, they are also... with all that, they Warner Brothers announced like a whole handful of different movies. I think Warner Brothers, Beetlejuice. They're making another Beetlejuice. Who did Beetlejuice? Was it WB? They're doing a third one.
That seems like a WDB production. I can't remember who owns it now.
Yeah, I can't remember either. It was one of those things that I was just reading when they were like, oh, they're doing a Minecraft 2, but they're also doing a Beetlejuice 3, and they're doing this movie, and they're doing that movie, and they decided they're doing
another
this one.
Goonies and another Gremlins and a...
Oh, yeah. Well, and, that's the whole thing is that all these theaters, they keep, or these studios, they keep seeing that any kind of original IP isn't getting them anywhere. Like Mickey 17 didn't make near the money that probably should
They're like,
have, or they
this
thought
is
it would.
confusing.
Yeah,
I gotta
so-
learn new characters.
But then you make a sequel or just bridge something off of an already popular IP like Minecraft, and you're like, oh well, there's just money. So yeah, well, and
Easy money.
talking sequels in WB, there's been a couple of updates, right? That's how the articles like to call it, on Batman 2, which is that they don't know if it's going to happen. It's still up in the air.
Why? What's going on with Batman 2?
They're still working on the script.
Are we talking about Robert
Pattinson.
Patman?
Yeah. So they're still working on the script, but also he's reportedly signed on for Dune 3, which may keep him busy, and you can't have a Batman movie without the Batman. So
Exactly. Because I did read about him maybe being signed on for Dune 3, which I think would be really cool. Like Rob Pat, I think he, after watching Mickey 17, I think he lends himself really well
Snow Planet to Desert Planet.
Exactly. Just sci-fi is good. Can we talk about that giant Modelo that you're sipping? Like, is that like a 24-ounce Modelo, or is that a bigger? Is that a 40?
It's a 32.
A 32.
Yeah, it's halfway.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yep. It's because I had
delicious.
that Victoria last time, and it was so good. But they didn't have a Victoria this time. Poochie Vince has a good point that maybe calling the third one Beetlejuice repeated 3 times.
Oh, some of them Beetlejuice.
Oh my
That's
God, you did
exactly
it.
what they're gonna call it. They are. Duh.
So, yeah, I don't.
Well, also speaking of unnecessary remakes, it's not getting a remake to film, but it is getting a TV adaptation. I don't know if you heard about this, but Prime Video is moving forward with a series adaptation of the 2000 film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Don't do that.
And I mean,
How are you going to do that?
Get Ang Lee? Are you going to get Ang Lee back?
Are you going to have Chow Yun Fat?
Are you going to have Chow Yun Fat
Are you going to have
back?
Michelle Yeoh?
Are you going to have Michelle Yeoh back? Like, you're going to have, that's what made that movie so badass. That movie's bad ass.
I've never liked it.
You didn't like Crouching Tiger?
It's too much wire foo.
But that was at the beginning of Wire Fu. You have
No, it wasn't. No, this is when
American audience
there
Wire
you go.
Fu.
It's when white people started being
Big budget
hey,
Wire
there's
Fu.
something here. Meanwhile,
Thanks,
some of
Matrix.
us knew who Chow Yun Fat was.
Uh-huh.
Some
The
of
killer.
us were aware of
How
Michelle
cool
Yeoh.
That's why I got excited about the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, because I already knew Michelle Yeoh and Chow Yun Fat were amazing actors, and I was fans of their work before they ever crossed the pond.
I was a big Chow Yun Fat fan.
Oh, dude, The Killer is such a good movie.
Yeah.
Such a good movie. And I mean,
doesn't-
that's how
doesn't really
John
make
Woo
bad movies.
got I mean, Chow Yun Fat invented the jumping sideways and shooting 2 guns move. Like, that's a Chow Yun Fat thing, original. And then he comes over
Yeah,
his
he
first
is Max Payne.
He is. In his first American movie, I think was Iron Monk or something stupid.
Is that the one with
American Pie
Sean
guy,
William Scott?
Sean William Scott.
Yeah, but Sean William Scott, usually when he's in a movie, I'm like, I'll watch this movie.
But Chow Yun Fat couldn't speak a whole lot of English at the time, to his credit. It took him a while before he was able to get the language down to where he could, because I think it was Brothers maybe, and that was a Takeshi Kitano English movie. Anyway, whatever. Chow Yun Fat fucking rules, and I don't really want to see a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon adaptation on Prime Video, but I'm gonna watch it because I'll watch some wushu.
I probably won't. It's just too wire fu heavy. I never liked that movie. I'm not saying I don't like wire fu movies. Like, what's that?
Chinese Ghost Story.
Iron Monkey.
Okay.
Or like Hero.
Chinese Ghost Story.
Or things of the sort. Those are fine. But yeah, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was just too much, and it was not. It took away from it to me. But whatever.
Do you have any other news things?
Yeah, man, of course. We got to bring up comic books here. Comic book movies. We got some updates about Supergirl here, including a on-set photo of what's her name, Millie Alcock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can pull that up.
Millie Alcock. We got a shot of her in costume on set.
Let me see if I can get an updated one.
It's pretty much, I mean, yeah, it's pretty much the same Supergirl costume. It's the same as...
Oh, looks like Supergirl. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
none of those are... It's where she's like... It's really far in the distance. That's not it.
Man, what's the new one?
But they...
New photo.
They,
So she looks like Supergirl.
Yeah, I mean, she looks like Supergirl. It's not really worth looking up, honestly. It's off in the distance. It's blurry. But it's the long sleeves. It's the skirt. It's the cape and stuff. She looks like Supergirl from a distance. And then also Jason Momoa tweeted out, "That's a wrap for Lobo." So he got done finished. He finished.
It's done filming? They wrapped on principle?
No, he finished filming his Lobo scenes.
Oh, in the Supergirl movie.
In the Supergirl movie.
Gotcha. Which is probably like, what, 2 days?
Who knows? So, yeah, Jason Momoa stuff's in the can.
Probably bullshit.
Yeah, probably in the can. The poop. So that's done. And then also on set photos, someone snapped a shot of Benedict Wong and James Marsden talking to each other.
Sonic the Hedgehog? Is Benedict Wong coming onto Sonic?
No.
Because I thought that was all the movies that James Marsden would ever make ever anymore, is just Sonic movies.
No, well, because this is on the set of Avengers Doomsday.
He's in Avengers?
Cyclops.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I didn't even...
X-Men.
Oh my God. He was just a baby when he was Cyclops. He was just a baby. Like that movie was what, 50,000 years ago?
25.
God.
Yeah. So, the X-Men, the Fox X-Men.
He was a good Cyclops. I'm going to give him that. I think he's a good actor.
He is a good actor. He is a good actor. And that's why when X-Men 3 happened, he's like, fucking kill me off in this shit, dude. I'm so out of here.
Take my glasses off. Let me laser some people let me laser my foot. I don't know. Like, get me out of here.
Yeah. No, he's a good actor. I mean, to his credit, he left X-Men and he started taking on projects that seemed fun for him. Like, what's that one with Amy Adams where she's like the Disney princess that becomes real life? And
I can't remember the name of that one. And he did Westworld. And he was really
fun
good in
in
Westworld.
that. Yeah. So, anyhow, X-Men, Avengers Doomsday, whatever. They're also talking about how, like, Avengers and Fantastic Four probably aren't going to make as big of dollars, partly because China announced that because of Trump and his tariffs, that they will not be bringing in as many Hollywood movies. They said
Which is funny because tariffs are not applied to movies.
Nope.
And this is a strategy of, which is crazy because it took a long time from a lot of lobbyists to get American films into Chinese theaters because it's monster box office revenue.
Chinese big money. Well, so the Chinese Film Administration announced their plans to drastically cut back on the number of American films brought into the country. And they said that's because the abuse on China will inevitably, the abuse of tariffs on China will inevitably further reduce the domestic audience's favorability towards American films. So basically they're saying, hey, all these tariffs on us are pissing the people off and they don't want anything to do with America or their horse shit. And they're not going to go watch these movies. So it's not worth our time and effort to import these films into our country for people to watch if they're not going to watch them because they're pissed at you and your BS.
And as Lurk just said on Twitch, good for them.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. So I think Disney is definitely going to be one of those that feels that in a big way, because. Yeah, I mean, who are you going to have watch your... that's not
'Cause we're
fed up with
talking-
your crap, that's willing to go watch your crap.
We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars in box office revenue from individual movies, especially Disney movies. They like the Chinese film market alone is monstrous. Dina over on Twitch says China already heavily curates what American films show out there, which is true. It's how some of these movies
They get edited heavy for China.
What was it? I think it was the Meg 2 was basically designed for Chinese box office.
Both Megs were, yeah.
And-
that's why they had Chinese stars and everything like that in them for sure. And there's movies that you get a whole different version of the movie in China than you do here. They're edited different. There's different scenes filmed. There's different actors that you won't get to see or only see parts of. And that's like a Great Wall. That movie was very much made for a Chinese audience. Underrated movie. The Great Wall's not bad.
No, I loved the Great Wall.
Yeah, we watched that movie and
in
we're
the
like,
theater, didn't we?
we did. We went and we watched it together, and we
was
were
a
both
good
like,
one.
not bad. Yeah. So
I had a lot of fun in Great Wall.
yeah, it's pretty
Matt
good.
Damon.
Yeah, not a lot of Willem Dafoe in that movie, like the trailer makes you think. But yeah, Matt Damon was great. The movie was fun. The Chinese people were super badass in that movie. It was so cool. But yeah, so China's like, you know what? You fuck me, I fuck you. So
That's how it works.
yeah, so it's projected to be big hits to box office for a lot of movies. So suck it, Disney, I guess.
Suck at Disney. And I, for one, am excited about watching these gigantic megacorps suffer. Like, fuck them.
Yeah.
You know, they you've heard a lot of auteurs and actors and producers and directors that are complaining about the habits of these monster studios and their, nepotism practices. It's just they're kowtowing to certain administration. Like, fuck them, dude. And like, hopefully it chokes them out and makes them realize that, hey, let's return some of that power back to the indie movie maker. Let's take some chances on some other properties. Let's maybe not think about all these stupid fucking IPs that need to have guaranteed world success. Let's just make some good ass movies. Have you been watching The Studio
No.
on Apple Plus the TV?
No,
whatever.
I don't have
minus-
Apple. I miss everything on Apple TV because I don't have Apple TV because I don't have Apple anything.
Well, I've been sent some screeners because I don't have Apple anything either. And The Studio, as recommended to me by one of our viewers, Poochie Vince, has given me severe PTSD, by the way, because I've worked on a lot of movie sets and some of this shit is extremely accurate.
Now, I did watch the Hot Ones with Catherine Catherine Hahn and Seth Rogen, because I didn't even know that it was like a thing.
So if you're not familiar with it, they've only got 4 episodes out now. I think it's scheduled to be 10. The premise of the show is it's this guy who's a big fan of film. He works at this production studio that makes movies, and his direct supervisor gets fired, and he gets to be the head of the studio. And he's like, yeah, man, I want to make great movies. I want to make artistic movies. I want to make movies that are important and are relevant, and I want to follow directors' visions. But then he gets like hit with his first project is, we just acquired the rights to Kool-Aid. You got to make the Kool-Aid movie. And he's like, the fuck? And he wants to make good movies, but he's also having to navigate the world of Hollywood as it exists right now, where it's pretty anti-art movie. It's always like, oh, what existing property? Anyway, each episode is just this hilarious adventure in a lot of tropes of behind-the-scenes movie making. And if you guys are interested in the process, or you're interested in how movies work and how they get made, and if you watch this show, then I think that you'll enjoy that show over on Apple TV Plus. It's called The Studio. 4 episodes out right now. Dina says on Twitch, the concern about IP in Hollywood is ruining movies. And you listen to any interview with a lot of actors, and they're saying that these IP things, it's ruining movies, and it's taking amazing directors' visions and putting them on the back burner. They're not taking chances anymore, and it's tragic for all of us as consumers of film that some of the best movies ever were not like these big blockbuster box office smashes. Some of the best movies ever that have made impacts in the history of the cinematic arts are not always profit driven. It's like, yeah, you want them to break even, you want them to make some money. But at a certain point, sometimes we got to push the envelope and do something new.
Velvet Santa Kool-Aid Part 1, it wasn't us in Jonestown.
Actually, if you watch that episode of... So, I'll spoiler alert now that Velvet Santa made the joke. It's circumstances as they are. His first movie, he had Martin Scorsese set to direct a film. And he was like, oh, man, I want to direct Martin Scorsese's movie. And he goes to a meeting, but he just got the news from his the studio financier that he has to do Kool-Aid the movie. So he's talking to Martin Scorsese, and Scorsese's like, yeah, I've been working on this. It's like my opus. It's the project I want to do. And he says it's about the Jonestown thing. And then Seth Rogen starts going, what if we call it Kool-Aid? And he's trying to use the Kool-Aid IP and make the Martin Scorsese, make a good movie. And of course, it does not work according to plan. And it is it's hilarious. So, recommended. But anyway, that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about more news. Let's talk about the movie that you watched. You said you watched a...
Yeah, going to the review.
No, we need to talk about new movies. I forgot.
I was about to say. While you're looking at that, Velvet Santa asked, "Didn't Princess Bride flop?" I don't know if it flopped, but I'm pretty sure it was not a big financial success at all. But most movies that people discovered later are one of those. Are some of those that like they just barely made budget or they weren't quite successful at the theater, and then later on people found and discovered them. I'm pretty sure Goonies was one of those that didn't make money. There's so many of those things that like people are like, oh man, but this is such a good movie, and it's just that the world's not ready or the time it's released is bad.
And sometimes it takes a second for people to catch on. John Wick is another good example. When John Wick first hit theaters,
the first movie didn't make do good at all.
And then it took a minute for people to go, wait a second, this is awesome. Now it's $1 billion franchise. But that first movie didn't make shit. And according to Worthington's Law, it sucks.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't watch John Wick until you had me do it. And even then, you're like, hey, listen, the dog dies. I'm like, well, screw it. I'm not watching this movie. I'm not watching a puppy murder movie. But then as soon as I made it past that part, it was difficult. As soon as he got past that part, and he's like, I'm going to kill everyone because they touched my car and my dog.
And you're like,
and I was like, those are the things that I would do if people touched those things of mine. And it was so good. And then the world was like, dude, this movie's sick. And then they made another good one, and then 2 not so good ones.
Movie Albert just on Twitch said, I tried to watch The Amateur last Thursday and saw Coke ad previews and then nothing. Manager finally came in and said the movie was not on the drive. Gave everybody a free pass. That's crazy.
The movie doesn't upload until tomorrow since it's Thursday. That movie goes in on the drive on Friday.
Never heard of that. That's so nuts. That's funny. Wow. Holy crap. I'm interesting. I've never even heard of that happening. But and leave it to theaters because they're also automated now, and the people at the theaters are like, oh, we don't know nothing about nothing. Our speakers don't work. Oh no, here's a button. Popcorn machine. You want popcorn? Like they're so ineffectual at their jobs. But anyway, all right. Well, let's talk about
Vince. I'm not gonna watch friggin' Ninja Turtles, bro.
You should. Movies that are coming out in theaters this week. There are movies coming out this weekend, April 18th, 2025. Let's talk about them before we review a movie. Probably the one that I think everybody wants to see, myself included, and I know some of the people on Twitch have been talking about this one. Sinners is the new movie coming out. You've seen the trailer, probably. It is written and directed by Ryan Coogler. It is a twin brothers, both played by Michael B. Jordan, and it's a horror movie. They return to their hometown, and there's vampires in these neighborhoods, and it looks pretty cool. And
is that what it is? They're vampires? I thought it was like demons.
No, I think it's like Dusk Till Dawn.
I think they're like possessed by demons from the trailer.
But it's Dusk Till Dawn demons.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's It looks pretty cool.
Because there's a hopping club, and then evil ensues.
It looks awesome. Like I can't wait to see Sinners. I think the one of the things that I really appreciate is the lighting design of this movie, because a lot of movies that are period pieces, they don't use the right color temperature lighting, and that pisses me off really hardcore. But everything I've seen in this trailer is appropriately lit, and I'm looking forward to this. You know, Ryan Coogler, he did Black Panther, he did Creed, he did Fruitvale Station. And he's worked with Michael B. Jordan a lot, and
Fruitvale Station, is that the one where he gets shot and he's like,
yeah,
bummer. Yeah.
And I for one am looking forward to it, and ever since that Ryan Coogler got such recognition for Black Panther, he's just been able to greenlight a lot of projects, and I think this is a project that both he wrote and directed that I think he's very passionate about. So I'm pretty excited about it. Night Owl actually says that makes me want you to just recommend shows based on their lighting. Girl, I'll make you a list. We can do it. But also coming out in theaters this week, we've got Metallica Saved My Life, a documentary about Metallica, but don't watch it because James Hetfield and Laura can suck it. They're buttholes.
Oh my gosh, Metallica can suck it.
I don't care what Lars says.
For some reason, so I work with guys that are in their like early 20s, and they listen to Metallica, and there's so many people I've run into in their early 20s that like Metallica, and I've asked them about it. I'm like, dude, what's the deal with your age
nothing
group
about
and
Metallica.
Liking Metallica? And they're like, oh, I just think they're pretty cool.
Sleeping one eye open.
I'm like, dude, as soon as they ran out of
as soon as
Dave Mustaine's songs, because they kicked Dave out of the band, they kept all of his songs, and as soon as they played through their thrash metal and ran out of
and
Dave's
then Lars
music,
hated Napster,
and then they switched to the Black Album and they quit being thrash metal. I don't know how they're considered
MAGA.
Big Four, because they don't even play thrash. They got rid of their thrash guy.
Yeah.
I hate Metallica so much, and this like a whole other.
And I'll
remember, Vince, when you asked if I listened to metal.
Well, and Metallica. There was a time in Metallica where they made good songs,
Pre-Black Album,
and it's kind of like
when Dave's music sheets were left on the bus.
Well, and it's like there was a time where, Morrissey made good music, and you're just like, there's some Morrissey out there that's good, but then there's a point. There's a very stark point where you're like, past that, and you can respect an album, you can respect a whatever, but to be like, yeah, Metallica rules. No, I'll never say Morrissey rules, but there's some good tracks. I'm like, that's a great song, but Morrissey sucks. And the Smiths, dude. But
see, yeah. Dina gets what I'm talking about. Yeah, before Cliff died. That's what I'm saying. When they still had Dave's music.
That's right.
Dave Mustaine is a butthole. Don't get me wrong. Dave Mustaine sucks, but Metallica,
it's good music,
used his music, and as soon as they ran out, they quit having decent music too.
Well, that's coming out this week. Also coming out, maybe you've seen the trailer. It confused the hell out of me. It is written and directed by Rob Edwards and some other folks. It was a lot of people here. It's got a pretty amazing cast, voice cast.
Wait.
It's got Keith David. It's got Martin Lawrence. It's got Anthony Mackie. It's got Lawrence Fishburne. It's got Macy Gray. It's got all of these pretty incredible celebrities coming in, and it's called Sneaks. It's kind of an indie animated film about sneakers in an urban environment that one of them gets lost, and it's like this pair of limited edition sneakers that gets kind of stolen and winds itself up on the street, and it has to like find its way back to its owner. I usually have a problem with CGI animals doing people things, right? That's a rule of mine. But this is like CGI shoes doing people things. They're not like, it's not animals. So I don't know if this classifies in my just general hatred of CGI animals doing people things because they're not animals. But it is an inanimate object doing people things, which just seems weird. But it's got a pretty stellar cast, a pretty good music producer behind this one. I don't know. I have no clue. The animation isn't great, but the pedigree here is sound. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Sneaks coming out in week.
I, for some reason, had thought Keith David had passed away. I'm actually very happy to hear that he's still alive
he's
and
still there, man.
doing voices because, man, if you've ever played Saints Row.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what else is coming out in theaters this weekend? The Wedding Banquet, which is written and directed by Andrew Ahn. It's about you've probably seen the trailers for this too. It's about this gay man. It's a predominantly Korean cast, and he makes a deal with his lesbian friend, and they want to get a green card marriage. So he needs to marry her in exchange for in vitro fertilization treatments for her and her lesbian partner. So they what they don't expect is their very traditional, like, grandparents to be coming in and sniffing out the plot where these two gay couples are trying to figure out legally one of them's going to marry the other so that they can do a thing. And it looks pretty interesting. I mean, Bowen Chang is in the lead, and he's pretty fun.
Yang.
What did I say, Chang? His character's name's Chris, so I'm looking at all these things. Bowen Yang, but he's really funny. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his stuff.
I've watched a lot of SNL. I mean,
he's super funny. But that one's coming out in theaters this week, as is The Ballad of Wallace Island. This is directed by James Griffiths.
That movie looks fun.
It's about a lottery winner who lives alone, kind of eccentric guy on this remote island, tries to make his fantasies come true by getting all of his favorite musicians to perform at his home. And this one, tore it up at Sundance. A lot of people talking about this one. And it is finally kind of getting a theatrical release this week. I don't know if it's going to be extended, but it'll be limited for sure.
It was a two-man group, a guy and a girl, and they were together, and then they split, and the band split, and he tricks both of them into coming to the island or something like that, and they don't know the other one's going to be there, and he keeps trying to get them to get the band back together.
Well, all right. Well, with that said, let's review this movie.
Yeah, man. So I watched The Gunslingers. It's we'll call it the new Nick Cage movie.
Okay, it's just Gunslingers, right?
Gunslingers.
There is the Gunslinger, so it's Nick
yes.
Cage, Stephen Dorff.
Stephen Dorff, who is one of the
Sucks.
executive producers on it. He's the star. It's not really a Nicolas Cage movie.
Do you remember when Stephen Dorff was in town shooting True Detective 3, and he was going up and down Dixon Street all the time, just being an absolute turd?
I heard different things about it. Everyone's like, dude, Mahershala Ali's such a nice guy.
He
He's
is.
super cool. And there's one other guy in that they were like, oh, wow, such a nice guy. And then they're like, Stephen Dorff didn't talk to me.
Not a nice guy. So I worked with both of them on set because I was A-Unit Sound for a couple of weeks. And Mahershala is an amazing dude. He's such a nice guy. He remembered my name by the second day. But Stephen Dorff, I'm pretty sure, didn't remember anybody from the entire crew's name because he was too busy like doing coke and trying to find hookers in Fayetteville.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, he plays
Dina knows what I'm talking about.
He plays that character in this movie. So, yeah, it's starring Stephen Dorff with guest starring roles by Heather Graham, a little bit of Nick Cage, and then Zima, who's like the dad from Rush Hour.
Zima, like, you never know when he's going to pop up.
And Sylvester Stallone's daughter.
Scarlett Rose?
Yeah.
She's in this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a Western kind of. It takes place in the late 1800s. It opens up in the middle of a robbery with Stephen Dorff's character and his what you find out later is his brother. They are robbing these guys and then murder these guys. And it turns out one of them is a Rockefeller, and that's a big deal for some reason.
Okay.
And then this dude wakes up, shoots his brother, and his brother burns, and he's on fire. And Stephen Dorff tries to put him out, but the police are coming, and he thinks he's dead, and half his body's burned, and so he leaves. Well, 4 years later, in somewhere in Kentucky, in the late 1860s, post-Civil War, the Stephen Dorff's character is on the lam, and he's trying to find the town of Redemption, which is this town that's nothing but outlaws.
Okay.
All of these people, and they photograph and stage all of these hangings for everyone that lives there to put in the newspapers so that no one comes looking for them. They all think they're dead. And this whole town is nothing but outlaws. What they keep saying in the movie is that they're gunslingers. Not one fucking part in this movie.
Do they sling guns?
Are they gunslingers? They're all poorly aimed, very bad ammunition management. There's no gunslinging. There's just a lot of wild shooting. And so this movie,
and then
Nicolas Cage's character.
Glasses.
So Nicolas Cage is in this for a little bit, and he talks with a very hoarse voice, like he has like laryngitis, like he has something wrong with him, and he's like this preacher type guy that doesn't want to kill, and he reads the Bible, and he wears cross-shaped glasses, and he goes, "Hey, I can't do it.
Can't do it.
He does this thing where he like whisper yells, and it's all in the back of his throat, and it's the most grinding, weird thing.
Classic Nick Cage.
It's beyond weird. It's like he just decided he was going to do whatever he wanted to ruin this movie because he didn't care, and he did. So the whole thing is he goes to this town. This woman played by Heather Graham and her child show up looking for him. Everyone's pretending he's dead. Because that's what they do until the law is not hot on their case anymore, and then they all just live in this town. But his half-burned brother comes looking for him with a posse of like 200 lawmen, and instead of Star Trek red shirts, they're Frontier red bandana, not even Frontier, because it's Kentucky in the almost 1870. It's far from the frontier, but anyone with a red bandana and a white t-shirt is going to get shot with really bad CGI bullet wounds. I'm trying to think of how to describe this movie. Empty, soulless, heartless, uninspired, yet cliche at the same time.
A lot of words that came pretty quickly.
Yeah, there's not a lot of substance to this movie, and there's not a lot of characters to any of the characters. Everyone is just thrown on screen, and there's more people than what you can keep up with in such a short time. There's very bad special effects. There's a very loose story that's difficult to follow. The gist of it is that Stephen Dorff's character is on the lam. He's hunted down by his brother. It turns out he had been fucking his brother's wife.
Oh, gosh.
And they have a daughter together, but he doesn't know that that's his daughter.
Dun, dun, dun.
And everyone in the town gets killed except for 5 or 6 different characters, none of which you care about or have any feelings towards, because none of them have any kind of development on screen. Whatever synopsis that is provided for this movie is wrong. For example, it says, in a town named Redemption, reformed gunslinger Keller and mad genius Ben are guided by the spiritual leader Jericho towards vindication. While confronting their violent histories, their newfound peace is challenged by violence and revenge. Not the fucking movie. Yeah. He's not a reformed gunslinger. He's just a guy on the run.
That's slinging a gun.
And he's not a gunslinger. He's just a dude that shoots people. And then Ben is Nicolas Cage's character, who sits there and does a really bad James Brown impression at one point.
Oh my God.
These guys are like hanging from the gallows. The fake gallows they set up to stage their newspapers, but yet it becomes real when it's time to kill the main character, the good guys, which are the bad guys. And Nicolas Cage goes to lift it up, and he goes, "Help me, Jesus! Help me, Jesus!" He keeps saying "help."
Hep?
Yeah, he goes, "Help me,
Like
Jesus!
hepatitis?
Please, Jesus, help me! Help me, Jesus!" And he goes, he did like this James Brown thing. He goes, "Ow!
I feel
Yeah,
bad."
he goes, "Help me!" And he keeps doing this thing.
Can't go on.
The only line of the movie is like that's worth remembering is this one dude that's hanging. He goes, "Come on!" He goes, "For fuck's sake, Jesus, help him!" Like, or whatever. But he's like trying to lift this like gallows platform back
funny.
up. But it's very clearly made by people that have no real love for westerns or any knowledge of any kind of American West or
Yeah,
Frontiers, and it's all just it's empty and dumb, and it's just they hit all the tropes, but they just threw stuff at a wall, and they're like, okay, yeah, just do that.
Let's do that.
It's not worth a watch at all.
Okay.
I thought maybe with Nicolas Cage it would be fun. It's not. His performance is very jarring, though it did lead to like the one part of the movie that's memorable. Sylvester Stallone's daughter in it is I don't know why she's there. Not anything against her, just the character. There's so many characters, and they give names to these people, and then they kill all of them almost immediately. Zima is probably like the only person that you're like, this guy's kind of cool.
Does he die?
No, well,
Okay.
kind of, almost, but
does.
not really. And he wears a sheriff's badge the whole time, and you don't get enough background on any of these characters to really care about them.
That's how a lot of these action westerns turn out, though.
A lot of it is, though, that there's these people that could probably act in if you gave them a chance. Nicolas Cage, Dorf, Zima, all, but they're putting this film that has no heart, and everyone's phoning it in, and it is just so dumb.
And
And
where did you watch it?
Prime,
Oh, okay, it's a Prime.
because
movie.
we didn't get it here.
Gotcha.
It's a new release. We didn't get it here at our theaters. And there's an after credits scene. Not worth sticking
None
around
of them
for.
are. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So and it tries to act like you have some attachment to any of these characters, and it's just not there. I felt really bad for Heather Graham, honestly, because she was in this movie where she was probably trying, and I think that shows
she's
a little.
trying to get that paycheck.
And no one else really was. You can see parts in the movie where she tried, and then other parts in the movie where she didn't. And I think that was because she was like, "Oh, no one else is giving a shit about this.
Okay,
Forget
I'm
it.
out."
Yeah, let's just phone it in." So,
Gunslinger on
Gunslingers,
Amazon.
super terrible, real bad. Don't bother.
All right. Well, that brings us to the box office, which is the Velvet Santa. He knows he didn't ask that because he wanted your opinion. He asked that because he knows what you're going to say.
I think they're both turds.
Exactly. But the box office roundup for the week. Jake's going to give you the top 10 movies in the U.S. We're going to maybe drop in some domestic numbers for some of or international numbers for some of these that we want to know about.
Dorf was banned from Backspace.
Yeah, he was. He sucked.
Why was he in Backspace?
Because he was just drunk and looking for easy, like, chicks. And he's just like, oh, maybe there's some underage chicks here. And because that's where they went.
In this 10-foot box playing music too loud.
But, all right, well, let's start with number 10 and get to number 1 because I've got a scoot here in a minute. And I've got Lost Souls that we're building right now. My team is still down there building, and I got to get back to those guys here pretty soon. But and got to pick up some Arby's for the team for the close.
Oh, nice.
But let's get with the number 10 and move our way to the number 1. Jake, take it away, man.
Yeah, at number 10, The Chosen, Last Supper, Part 2, which I found out that's actually a Part 3, which we will get to in a minute. Because remember, we talked about it being a two-parter. It's a three-parter. So the first two parts came out at one time. The third part came out later. But dropping from the number 3 spot, The Chosen, Last Supper, Part 2 brought in $961,000. 2 weeks out has brought in almost $11 million bucks. Again,
but it's going to make what we're going to talk about in a minute really hilarious.
Yeah, The Chosen is crowdfunded, so they're probably doing fantastic. At number 9, The Woman in the Yard brought in almost $2.1 million. 3 weeks out has brought in $20.3 million bucks.
So Vince on Twitch said he wanted to highlight number 33, which is The Luckiest Man in America with a 93.8% drop off. That is because it was in 600 theaters last week. It was only in 119 this week. So there you go.
Yeah, and then at number 8, dropping from number 4 in its 4th week out, Snow White brought in $2.9 million, $82 million here in the U.S., another $100 million elsewhere in the world. $182 million.
Womp womp.
I don't even think that might be half the budget with their reshoots.
400 was, I think, the number they needed to hit.
So, yeah. And then at number 7, dropping from the number 2 spot, lots of big drops. A Working Man, which I did almost go watch just to talk about, but at the same time, we know what it is. It's a Jason Statham movie.
Job.
Every review has said the same thing. We've already seen it. It's a Jason Statham movie. $3 million for it. 3rd week out has brought in $33.5 million. another 45 elsewhere in the world. So
better than I thought.
78.8 million for it. I've heard it's not a bad movie though.
I'm sure it's fine.
I definitely will watch it at some point, maybe just not at the theater right now. And then at number 6, The Chosen Last Supper Part 3, opening with $6 million. So
how does how does part 2 barely make 10 in a couple of weeks, and then part 3 is like,
because part 3 is the juicy part, man. Part 3 is where he's like, Judas, you gonna kiss me, dog? You're gonna be the one. And he's like, Sorry, Jesus. And then the Romans just charge in and start nailing him to a piece of wood or whatever. I mean, again, good on Chosen, crowdfunded, making dollars, doing its thing for the people that like it. And then at number 5, Drop, opening at the number 5 spot, $7.4 million for it. It'll probably drop from here. And then at number 4, Warfare, estimated $8.3 million for the A24 film there, so not bad. For A24 films usually have low budgets.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know how well that did for it, but hopefully it's something. And then at number 3, opening at the number 3 spot, The Amateur, $14.8 million in its opening week. I'm sure they expected that one to make a lot more money
because they've been advertising the hell out of it.
Yeah, another 17.4 elsewhere, so 32.2. I mean, you get Rami Malek and Lawrence Fishburne, and they're really pushing for it, and I just don't think that they would have expected it to make that little. And then at number 2, King of Kings, which it has to hurt to be topped by Charles Dickens' Jesus movie.
Yeah, when you got like blockbuster action, and then it's like, Dickens Jesus.
Yeah, 19.3 million brought in by that one, and its opening weekend. I'm sure that covered the budget of the movie, maybe not the budget of its all-star cast. So we'll see how that goes. And then at number 1, holding the number 1 spot, already given its sequel, a Minecraft movie, $78.5 million in its second week, bringing it up to $278.8 in the U.S., another $273.8 in the rest of the world. Over $500 million already.
Minecraft is so stupid already. Jeez,
yep.
It's so stupid. I just don't get it. So I don't know. Well, that's the box office right there. Minecraft is just, it's insane. How much money that movie's making. But we'll be back next week. There's movies that we're going to talk about. Lost Souls starts this Thursday. I got to scoot and go finish building that. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever it is you want to subscribe. We are on Facebook, we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, but we're also on Discord. You can do some watch-alongs with our Twitch mod, Poochie Vince, over there on his server. A lot of fun stuff to do. You can find all that info on our link tree at driveinspeakerbox.com. And as always, I'm the Boom Operator.
I'm the Grip.
And we'll see you next time.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.